This is Replicant Fish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. Womanizer. Womanizer, womanizer. Not to quote Britney Spears, but many men would think themselves as womanizers, as ladies' men, or would hope to be so. Would hope to be a womanizer, or a ladies' man. A quick refresher of the meaning. Ladies' man. A man who enjoys spending time and flirting with women. And womanizer. A man who engages in numerous casual sexual affairs with women. So obviously one could say and would say that womanizers have a, let's say, passion, if not love, for women. They have a strong desire for them, but not just one woman. It's women in general. The entire mass of them. Obviously not all of them, obviously not the ugly ones, you know. The ones you'd run from instead of running to, you know. But many womanizers, many great womanizers, like Casanova for instance, and I still need to read the book on him, but he had this wild love for women. Some would say a blinding love. Some would say a blinding passion, desire for women. And one could understand this, because I myself have felt the same way. Had this blinding love for women. This raw desire. This wolf-like, howling at the moon, lichen desire for women. Now some would say there's nothing wrong with that. It's a normal human being with a strong desire for women. Obviously. Now some would think it's all good. It's all good for a man to be so, and to think this way. And that nothing bad comes with being a man who has this much passion and desire for the chase of and conquest of women. But you see, that is the misconception. Some men that lack the, let's say, abilities, skills or talents, the charisma, the looks, the money, whatever it is that makes men good at being womanizers and successful ladies' men, the men that are jealous of those men, they miss a point that with women comes much destruction, comes much recklessness. And in your pursuit of them, yes, of course, you would come across many reckless situations, many dangerous situations, many stupid situations, many situations where you wonder, why am I here? Why am I here? You know why you're here. You're here to get some. And that is a thing about women as well. Women can say what they want about men being dogs, but my point is, how many women would let you feed your passion and desire, especially if they have one for you? My God, more than enough women would allow you to indulge, to the point of it being reckless. And even though some women put up their defenses to make you work a little harder, she will say, oh, behave, fish, behave, but don't stop, just behave, you know? And you have to think to yourself, my God, more resistance would be good. Sometimes it feels too easy. Then one has to wonder, is it even worth it? But then it's the continuous cycle of the desire coming back, always being there, as if your second brain is a monster, this monster within your mind and your body trying to escape. And it can only do so with a bust and move, with a bust and move. Then it becomes a question of, how can one trust women when you understand many of them are in such a way? Yes, you enjoy that they're so ready for it, let's say, or loose. Seriously, you know. But at what point could I then think I could trust these women here? Am I the heartless monster? Am I really this android, this emotionless imitation of a man, facsimile of a man? Because of the many, many times I have been told by women themselves how heartless you are. Why it seems as if you don't feel anything. That's not funny. You don't feel anything, fish. What's wrong with you? It's as if you can't love, or as if you're so self-absorbed you can't possibly love anyone else. Yes, fish, you are a machine. You're not human. I don't know what you are, but you're not human. Paraphrasing, but yes, I have been told that more than enough times by more than one woman. It really isn't funny, but it is in many ways. Thus, a replicant is more than fitting. But in being a womanizer, you have to deal with the things that come with women, their problems and their issues. Other men that may be so drawn to them that they can't ever let her go, which means you then become a target because you are her new interest, of which the previous man may become very jealous about. Thus, you may get stalked by ex-boyfriends. You may have men ringing your phone random times of the day or night, threatening you. Then you have to wonder, what is it all for? What is the end result? To bust another nut? Yay. Yeah. Trying to be a womanizer, being a player, being a Mac or whatever, a ladies' man. Many men naturally have these gifts, or they work hard to become such a man. But to what end? Because the point seems to always remain, whether you love one woman or you love them all, still as a man, you are falling and chasing, tripping, falling, yet still chasing. But to emerge from the depths of the futuristic sci-fi noir, cyberpunk, Blade Runner-esque city, to go into the past, to tell a brief story of a classic womanizer, a very interesting and humorous tale of an English king. Now some would call him a fool, a very poor king, a woman-loving idiot, but others may know him as King Charles II. From historycollection.com. King Charles II. Forget Henry VIII. I like her not. No, forget Henry VIII. When it comes to womanizing English kings, Charles II stands head and shoulders above the rest. This was a monarch for whom running the country appeared to be an unwanted distraction. He'd rather have devoted all his time and energy to satisfying his first love, the thrill of the chase. Yes, and how many of us as men have enjoyed that damned thrill. It is thrilling, isn't it? Yeah, until you run into a crazy chick, but let's carry on. Indeed, while some kings and queens may have been discreet in their liaisons, Charles II was shameless, openly flaunting his affairs and boasting his prowess in the bedchamber. Yes, one can spend many lost hours can be spent mastering skills to please a woman. But it's not programming though, is it? It's not programming. Calm down, fish, let's carry on. So decadent was the monarch that he almost bankrupted the country. In his defense, however, maybe he had good reason to live for the moment. Which as a man, when it comes to women, you do feel as if you want to live for the moment and just get some, live for the day. Yeah. Charles II had a stressful adolescence, to say the least. In 1649, his father, King Charles I, was executed by Oliver Cromwell in London, bringing the bloody English Civil War to an end. Worried that he would be next to feel Cromwell's wrath, the young man went on the run, heading across the water to France and lying low for a while. All for 11 years of drinking and womanizing, to be precise. The trials of a young man with wet fingertips, but seriously. In 1660, England's experiment with parliamentary rule was over, and the monarchy was back in favour. Charles II was on the throne, and he had a divided country to unite. However, he clearly had other things on his mind. Yes, one could wonder what those things are. Many a times it is an all-consuming damn thought. By all accounts, the court of Charles II was like a 17th century Playboy mansion. In 1662, Charles married Catherine of Braganza, a sound political union. However, he chose to watch her state procession through London from the roof of his banqueting house in the company of one of his favourite mistresses. So while his queen was leading her procession through London, he was banging one of his mistresses. Oh my god. Typical womanizing man. This was far from the only time the king flaunted his infidelities. In fact, he tasked members of his courts sorry to bring him young women. My God. Actresses were a particular favorite, and he would usually have around 15 ladies in his harem at any one time. The exact number of lovers he had, and indeed the number of illegitimate children he fathered in his affairs, will never be known. Charles loved to spoil his mistresses, often buying them apartments and fixing them up with expensive accounts, much to the annoyance of Parliament. Given his financial mismanagement, as well as his decadent lifestyle, it's a miracle that the people didn't rise up against Charles. However, he stayed on the throne for 25 years, living the good life, banging tons of chicks. Oh my God. He eventually died in 1685, the morning after a lavish party in which he enjoyed the company of his favorite mistresses. Mistresses, more than one. An appropriate end for the ultimate playboy monarch. Wow. Wow. As a king, he had such a love and pursuit and one could say clearly a very simpish nature for women. Yes, he did live for the day, partied for the night, and was dead by the next day. But this was just an example of being a man with power and how that power can get to your head and be destroyed and given away simply because of your desire for the chase and the pursuits of women. The power is in the control, not the giving in. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.